What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna go change or add some rear end fluid to the axle of this F-150 pickup, and we are gonna be using this little thing. Anyway, y'all know what this is? This is a Mighty Vac vacuum gun, or whatever you want to call it. It's used to test all kinds of vacuum operated stuff in your engine, and I sometimes use it to fill up objects. I just pump it like this, and properly attached to the system, it'll fill up whatever you're filling up, so I don't have to use a hose or whatever to get everything all over my face and my body and get messy. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to do it today. Let's begin. Some of the tools you will need, as you can see, we're working on the axle of the car. You'll need a wrench 3/8 inch. You will need the vacuum pump. You will need the fuel lines, as you can see. And you will need 80W90 or what I'm using here, SAE 140 fluid. On a Ford axle, you'll find this nut on the front of the axle facing towards the front of the car. It's shaped like one of the socket extensions of a 3/8 inch socket. Find it and insert the socket into this nut, and it turns counterclockwise or clockwise if you're facing the opposite way of your direction of the car. It's going to be tight, so you might need to use a mini breaker bar to get this open. As you can see, I'm using a breaker bar here to remove the nut out of the axle assembly. Once you remove the nut out of the axle assembly, you will notice either fluid coming out of it or no fluid coming out of it at all. And in this case, on mine, there's no fluid coming out of it at all. So I was really low, almost low to beyond belief. And after checking the plug is magnetic at the end. You will notice, as you can see here, there's metal particles. As you can see, that's a very bad sign. It's a big no-no. And this is something that you have to address in the future if the noise continues even after replacing the fluid in this axle assembly. Now we'll start to insert this suction tube into the orifice. You're either going to suck the old fluid out, and in my case there is no fluid in there at all. So I'm going to insert fluid into this axle assembly. In the next video I'm going to show you how that's done. There are two settings on the particular vacuum gun that I use. One is pressure side or suction side. As you can see, pressure is facing forward, suction is facing to the bottom. You'll want to turn the dial to the suction part, which is the bottom, before you begin. So first, you will need to insert the suction part of the hose into the container of the high-grade gear oil, which is SAE 8090 or SAE 140. After putting product into the product container, the discharge or pressure side of the gun is going to be opposite of the container, and the discharge side that after the product container will go into the rear end axle hole, and that's the procedure. And the oil should flow outside of the container and into the axle hole. I'll show you the procedure in a minute. We're gonna make the container upside down so you can do gravity feed method. Now this is a long and arduous process. After putting the product in the product container, you're going to flip the container upside down and hold it so it doesn't pop out. Okay, and after that, you're going to notice the product going down each and every time you pump the gun. You pump the gun once every 2 seconds. The delay is so the pressure can be released from the product container because the product is so thick that it tends to blow out the cap. So you need to hold it, keep it upside down, keep it right about level to the axle, and pump it once every 2 seconds. You're going to need to fill this product container several times before this procedure is done. In my case, I did it about 5 or 6 times, and after that's done, it should be a mess-free axle fluid replacement. And this is by far the best method that I've seen to replace axle fluid without getting a really big mess or using special expensive equipment, as my equipment was relatively cheap, only about $38 for the kit, and it comes with its own case. So just do this procedure and keep repeating. Do it, rinse and repeat, and you should be completed with this assembly and this procedure very quickly. And that's how it's done. If it were me and I had to do this a second time, I would get a specialized metal container, either made of aluminum or glass, with a metal top, so it didn't deform when I put pressure through it, and it would make things easier. I wouldn't have to hold this container upside down and constantly keep it from blowing its cap off. They do make that container and sell that container. It doesn't come in this kit, but you can get one. And if you do opt to get that container, it would be better off for you than what I'm doing here. But for me, it's no big deal, so it still got the job done. It's a little bit messy, but the only thing that got messy was just one hand, so it wasn't bad. It all worked out. It came out pretty cool. All right, that was the conclusion of our adding oil to our differential fluid. Changing oil is the same way. You just have to remove the carrier, which is the gear portion of it, which is a whole nother video. We'll do that in the future. But just to add oil in case you're leaking or you want to change your oil out, you can suck it out with that gun, and you can also add more fluid with that gun. It's supposed to be very easy and less messy, but as you can see, it was kind of messy. But I'm under the car, I don't have a lift, so you know how it is. But you all get the idea. So if you like what you saw at this video, just like, share, subscribe, and then off to the next video. BBG.